After the success of Twisted Metal that came out on PS1, a sequel was directly made by SingleTrack once again, as a PlayStation exclusive. What's strange though is that in 1997, the game ended up coming to Windows once again, but this time as a North American exclusive. Which is kind of weird considering it was a Japanese exclusive for the first game to be on there. So anyways, this is another one that got a ton of re-releases. It didn't make the cut on the PlayStation 1 Classic system, but it did get a re-release on a PS3, PS4, and PS5 as well. Sure, it may not be on the PlayStation Classic, but you can actually mod the system in order to play the game thanks to RetroArch. Now the story is the same thing. Callisto is having a tournament and you have to go and win the whole entire tournament just to grant some wish. It's the same thing, but there are newer stuff in the game. You can actually have a much better camera view this time around, bigger maps for you guys to explore, co-op mode, and some other stuff like that. Now there are new characters for you guys to play around, and Sweet Tooth has finally been redesigned to match his truck. You still have some lives to watch out for too, so you gotta make some strategy in order to defeat multiple opponents. Yes, there are now multiple opponents opposed to like 1 or 2 or 3. So that's a huge improvement. And the frame rate is actually pretty well despite how many enemies there are on screen and how big the area of the map is. And playing on Windows, it does feature over a modem line or internet, which is nice. It was a slightly cut down graphics version on the Windows, which is pretty weird. But it did feature some online and internet play, which is nice. So the Windows version got some negative reviews instead of positive. So that's kind of like why the PlayStation was like the get-to system, considering it was cheaper than some of its competitors, and it had a huge lineup of libraries, and this is one of them. I want to say that this game is improved in terms of gameplay. It's a lot faster, it's got great music on there, and it's also got a lineup of characters for you guys to play. Like I said, some new ones for you guys to play around with. Some of your favorite weapons are here: the catapult, the missiles, the traps, whatever else. There are healing items as well, and there are some unique cars for you guys to like, or at least just some vehicles, just for you guys to play with. Like there's this forklift one or whatever, like one that's kind of like used for building construction. They pick you up and they can just slam you as a special. Yeah, some of these cars has their own specials. So Outlaw can do like this sapping the lightning on the enemies, and other characters have their own unique specials. So I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but that was one of the examples. This one also features password saves, so whenever you complete a level, you can actually use the password, whichever one's given to you, and you can just go on and play like that. So yeah, the last remaining player is the winner, and you go on to the next level, like I said from the first game. And when you play this game, you can pretty much see why a lot of people prefer the sequel over the original. I just think the game is more fun, like having to fight multiple enemies instead of just like 2 or 3 of them. There's more than just 2 or 3 enemies in this one, which is pretty nice. So SingleTrack actually was brainstorming some ideas for the sequel, and due to the success of the original, the sequel was made within 16 months of development, much longer than the previous game, and it really goes to show too. But when the game first came out, there was a problem. You see, Frosty Treats, the ice cream truck company, filed a lawsuit against Sony because they were using the phrase Frosty Treats as well as similar things when it came to Sweet Tooth. So the thing is too is that the court appealed for the 8th Circuit ruled against the trademark claims because they were either too generic or were unlikely to cause confusion among consumers. I think this is a huge example as to why sometimes suing a game doesn't work. I mean, look at Donkey Kong. Universal tried suing Nintendo over that and they lost. But again, it's a completely different topic. But this game is a great sequel and you can already see why it is. Some of the maps in that game too has some sort of traps. Like, you can try to jump over a ramp, there'll be fire trying to spray at you, or anything else like that. I think you'll have a fun time playing Twisted Metal 2, regardless of who you are. If you guys are like racing fans, and whatever else, like maybe like cars or deathmatch fans, it really doesn't matter. I think at the end of the day, I think everyone's gonna start enjoying this game regardless. And I think there is some fun for you guys to play around with when it comes to Twisted Metal 2. So let me know how you guys think about this game compared to the first game. Did they make any improvements in your opinion? Or they should have stuck with the first sort of thing of how they had to be in a gameplay. So that'll be it for right now.